So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy Ellen. I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to a channel. Salute. And welcome back to What the F is that? Another episode of What the F is that? Nah. Let me. I don't know. I just feel like that's what we say a lot, or I say a lot when I'm watching these videos, bro. Like, what the F? You know what I mean? What is that? You know? And I don't think this video is gonna be any different. Scientist discovers what no one was supposed to see. All right, so we're gonna check this video out, man. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Join the family. Moment of silence for the haters. That's enough. Now run the likes up, baby. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Here we go.
Can be funny business. And the more we advance as a human race, mentally, physically, spiritually, or in the fields of science and technology, there are just some things that we can't fully understand, no matter how hard we try. And that's why we're here.
It makes sense that they would go to this extinct volcano that was really, the beating heart of it, isn't it?
Despite how far we've come, there's no way we can deny that some stuff just defies all logic. Even the experts are stumped. Bird migration to super whale parties, hula hoop trees to tiny coffins. You definitely want it.
That's definitely a good way to put it. Defies all logic. Maybe that's what I'll say. Instead of, what the is this? Defies all logic.
See this. Here are 15 mysterious discoveries scientists can't explain.
I have heard about this giant footprint for a long time.
Wow.
I have never had the opportunity to come and look at it for myself.
Number 15. Earthquake lights. Did you know that during an earthquake, strange lights sometimes appear in the sky? It's true, and observers are understandably baffled, and scientists aren't sure about it either. Images and footage have revealed strange luminescent phenomenon before, during, and after the 7.1 earthquake in Mexico City in early September 2021. As you can imagine, it created a lot of confusion. Theories ranged from sudden weather changes to UFOs, but it's not that. This is not the first time that these odd earthquake lights have shown up in our skies during a major tremor. The lights' appearance tend to confuse people since they don't stick to one form or color. There can be balls of light, flames, bright streaks across the sky, and glowing hues of blues, reds, whites, violets, and pinks. They can last from a few seconds to several minutes. Earthquake lights have had many names over the years, including sheet lightning, ball lightning, and streamers. The scientific term is luminescence, or sometimes triboluminescence. The first record of this phenomenon dates back to 869 AD, when an earthquake and subsequent tsunami devastated Japan. And since then, these lights have also appeared elsewhere around the world, particularly during earthquakes of 5.0 and higher. Now, let's get ready for today's open discussion. The first question that comes to mind when you see an image like this is, what the heck is it? The second question would be, what would we do if this thing was right in front of us? The truth is, sometimes a surprise like this, emerging from a bush right in front of us, would be enough to make us run the other direction. Not take a picture.
Run, grow wings, fly away, anything but stand there and let it kill me.
Is it even human? We're seeing a white face, possibly dressed all in black, creeping low to the ground. It's giving us those no feelings we try to avoid. But if you were to make a guess as to what this mystery is, let us know in the comments below. Just use the hashtag open discussion when you do. You want to know a little?
I'm like, y'all, I saw a lot of y'all comments in the comment section yesterday, bro. A lot of y'all was like, yo, if they don't get some better cameras to start taking some of these photos, I 1000% agree with y'all, fam. We got they drop an iPhone almost how many times a year now? It's crazy. And the cameras on them be better than actual DSLR cameras. So these fuzzy little photos y'all taking, fam, y'all gotta step it up.
Little secret, if you smash the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell, you'll have superpowers for the rest of your life. So what are you waiting for? Time to fly. Number 14, the karaoke bar genius. Jason Paget is one of a small group of people with acquired savant syndrome. Ever heard of it? The condition occurs when a normal person develops a prodigious ability after a severe injury or disease. like remarkable musical or artistic abilities, or speaking a foreign language without any previous knowledge of how to do so. But few people have acquired mathematical skills, and not like this. In 2002, Jason was violently mugged outside of a karaoke bar, which left him unconscious. But when he returned to functional health, his head injury suddenly caused him to see math everywhere. The mathematical makeup of everything started to appear crystal clear to him. Crazy, right? Before his violent attack, the only time he dealt in numbers was to count the hours until his shift ended at his father's furniture store. Unfortunately, it was tragedy that caused him to awaken his new talent. But now, he suddenly possessed unheard of mathematical drawing ability, which helped him understand the concept of pi, the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. Easy! Even clouds, sunlight, and water looked completely different. To Paget, the world essentially looked like a retro video game. Number 30.
All right, that don't mean y'all run out here and try to go get mugged or something like that. So it may not work out for you like that. You just may wake up in a hospital, or worse than that, might not wake up. All right, so they don't go out here running around. But I have heard instances of people having a traumatic brain injury or a concussion or something like that, and waking up and knowing how to play extraordinary music. Where it comes from, we talked about this. I think when you see things that get stored in your somewhere in your brain, in your memory, and certain things can unlock that, you know? I don't know.
13. Giant's footprints. The internet conspiracy mill has been running wild after footage of the bizarre print was uploaded and watched by millions of people. The huge footprint in South Africa discovered in the side of a hill has prompted claims that an undiscovered race of giants once walked the earth. For those that know about it, the giant footprint is the holiest place in South Africa, supposedly 3 billion years ago. According to local legend, the footprint is that of a woman's left foot with matching right foot imprint in Sri Lanka, the footprint of Athens. The imprint of her foot was made as she ran across an open piece of ground that was covered with warm lava ash, and that's how the footprint came to be in granite, which is now so prominently displayed on the side of this hill. So for them, the footprints were made by giants, which is written in the Bible that there were giants that once roamed our planet, and they guessed that if this giant existed, she was approximately 36 feet high, and that her footprint was approximately 6 feet long. However, despite the giant claims, many critics have questioned the theory. 3 billion years ago, there was little oxygen in Earth's atmosphere during the time period in question. Certainly not the levels of oxygen required to keep giants alive. Number 2.
When your foot is taller than most people, or your foot is longer than most people are tall, that's insane. That's insane, fam. You know what I mean? Like 6 foot. That's crazy.
12. Humpback whale supergroups. Incredible drone footage of a supergroup of humpback whales was captured off the coast of Australia, sending scientists into a frenzy. The mass feeding event near New South Wales was the first ever in the country's history. Humpback whales feed in Antarctic waters during the summer, then migrate to the waters off of northern Australia to feed during the winter. However, the mass feeding frenzy has only ever been seen once before in the southern hemisphere, off the coast of South Africa. Bubble net feeding is when whales blow a circle of bubbles around a school of fish to trap them. One whale then sounds a feeding call, and the whales simultaneously rush to the surface with mouths open, feeding on the trapped fish. It's one of the few surface feeding behaviors that humpback whales are known to engage in.
Yeah, we've seen that. And we've seen them jump up one time and almost swallow somebody's kayak with them in it, remember?
During this feeding season, they actively feed up to 22 hours a day so they can store enough fat reserves to live through their breeding season, when they don't eat at all. If humpbacks usually like their privacy, why are they clubbing up like this? Experts are unsure, but they have a few ideas. Firstly, the whales are recovering from a severe population dip. It could also be that they used to always have big parties like this, and now they finally can again. Number 11. India's mystery snack. Why is this vendor cutting off what looked like the trunk of a tree on his food trolley? The core is a creamy white and the skin a brownish orange, and they cut it horizontally in circles with the precision of a surgeon. So then you can see through the pieces. It's a root. It can grow 5 feet deep and weigh over 600 pounds. It's called Buchakaragada in South India and Ramkand Mool up north. Can a root be this massive? Yeah, it can. Yet it remains a mystery to scientists as no one can figure out what plant produces it. Botanists developed an interest in the tasty root in the 1980s after trying and failing to find out the origins of the almost paper-thin snacks cut out of these giant tubers by street vendors. But none of them were willing to reveal the plant that produced it, and those that did gave conflicting answers. Some claimed that it was a root, others that it was the stem of a plant, but most either refused to answer. And when you purchase India's mystery snack, it usually comes seasoned with salt, chili powder and lime, sometimes even sugar, and apparently it's crunchy, juicy, and refreshing. It's been sold as a hearty snack on Indian street corners for at least several decades. Vendors claim it can cool you down during the summer, quench both hunger and thirst, and provide all sorts of medicinal relief. Number 10. Fast radio bursts. Fast radio bursts, or FRBs, are millisecond-long emissions of radio waves in space, and astronomers have been able to trace some radio bursts back to their home galaxies. Scientists have yet to determine the actual cause of the flashes, but the short bursts can produce a year's worth of our sun's total energy output. Talk about a cosmic temper tantrum. The energetic phenomena are one of the greatest cosmic mysteries today, and usually last only a few milliseconds before fading away forever. Since the first FRB was observed in 2007, astronomers have looked forward to the day when instruments of sufficient sensitivity would be able to detect them regularly. That day has arrived with the completion of a fast radio telescope. Since it commenced operations, the observatory has vastly expanded the number of detected FRBs. In fact, according to research, an observatory detected a total of 1,652 independent bursts from a single source in 47 days. While some people favor the idea that aliens could be the source of those bursts, scientists are leaning towards black holes or hypermagnetized neutron stars called magnetars, about the size of a city, with the strongest magnetic fields found in the universe. Number 9. Tully monsters. Every now and again, scientists discover fossils that are so bizarre they defy classification. Their body plans unlike any other animal or plant. Tully monster, a 300-million-year-old fossil discovered in the Mazon Creek fossil beds in Illinois, is one such creature. Scientists have even been unable to agree on whether it's a vertebrate with a backbone, like mammals, birds, reptiles, and fish, or is it an invertebrate without a backbone, like insects, crustaceans, octopus, and all other animals. At first glance, Tully looks superficially slug-like, but where you would expect its mouth to be, the creature has a long, thin appendage ending what looks like a pair of grasping claws. Then there are its eyes, which protrude outward from its body on stalks. The body plan of the Tully monster is so unusual in its entirety that it will greatly expand the diversity of whatever group it ultimately belongs to, changing the way we think about that group of animals forever. The enigma of Tully's true evolutionary relationships has added to its popularity, ultimately leading it to become the state fossil of Illinois. The once living creature is indeed one of the strangest ever discovered. Its eyes are at the end of its long, thin stalks, or rigid bars, like something out of a science fiction movie. Number 8. The pneumonia front. You may have heard the term pneumonia front thrown around.
No. Only thing is when my elders used to be like, you don't wear that jacket outside, you're gonna get walking pneumonia. That's where I hear pneumonia from. Never heard of a pneumonia front. No, that's new.
The pneumonia front. You may have heard the term pneumonia front thrown around, but what does it even mean? In short, it's a regionally termed phenomenon you won't find in meteorology textbooks. It's a cold front with enhanced cold air thanks to chilly temperatures at the surface of a body of water, and typically occurs in early spring. For example, recently as it moved through eastern Wisconsin through northeastern Illinois, it causes a drop in temperatures of at least 16 degrees Fahrenheit in 1 hour. That's really cold, really fast. On Lake Michigan, temperatures can creep up to 80 degrees and continue to climb unseasonably. The promise of an early summer lures out gardeners, cyclists, and beachcombers. Then it happens. The temperature plummets and winter returns with a vengeance. It's not the opening scene of a horror movie. It's a rare weather phenomenon that's unique to the corner of the Great Lakes and still not fully understood by scientists. The event has nothing to do with actual pneumonia. It's an entire region getting a sudden case of the chills, and the Great Lakes are large enough to act as an inland sea, generating its own weather patterns, including wind. Anyone who has lived beside an ocean has experienced a stiff sea breeze, but pneumonia fronts are something else. Number 7.
Now it's safe to say we don't like neither one of those pneumonias. You know what I mean? Regular pneumonia or pneumonia fronts. And walking pneumonia, I'm still confused by that. You know, why it couldn't be running pneumonia? Why it's walking pneumonia? I never understood that one.
Fake pebbles. It's only when you pick them up and feel how light they are that you realize they're not stones at all. They're plastic, but they look like fake pebbles. Often they hide in plain sight, crunching beneath feet as people stroll along pebbled beaches. Litter cleaners frequently miss them because they look just like the real thing. And that's a problem. Environmentalists say this newest and most curious form of plastic pollution could enter food chains as they break down into microplastics. Known as pyroclastics, the stones are thought to form when pieces of plastic are melted or burnt and thrown into the sea, where they're slowly weathered gray and smooth as they float on long ocean voyages. Using X-ray and infrared spectroscopy, researchers discovered they comprised of polyethylene and polypropylene, two of the most common forms of plastic. More analysis showed they contained lead and usually chromium. Not good. And everyone is surprised just how well the plastic imposters blended in with their surroundings. While the idea of beaches turning artificial sounds fanciful, some people worry about the long-term impact if plastic pebbles keep rolling onto shorelines. Number 6. The hula hoop tree. If a tree is cut down
Talk about random.
or falls over, you can count the rings on the stump to know how old it is. But there's a different type of ring on a tree outside of the tiny community of Amber in Iowa. Hula hoops. Apparently, a storm rolled through the area in 2015 and 2 hula hoops ended up on the tree. The locals aren't sure if someone placed them there or if Mother Nature has a good sense of humor that day, but this is where they landed. From time to time, some of the hula hoops fall off and more are added all the time. It's quite a sight to see.
Apparently that's gotta be a small town. And they ain't got much to do. You know what I'm saying? When you create something like this, it says a lot. Bro, y'all ain't got nothing to do? Y'all just this? Huh? No Friday night lights, nothing?
It's a mystery as to who started adorning the tree with the toys or why, but the whimsical tradition has spread its roots further and further through Iowa as more people came to seek out the curious tree, some even adding their own hula hoops. One local woman occasionally placed rocks with a picture of the hula hoop tree painted on them at the trunk, a delightful bonus for those who find them. Unfortunately, the hula hoop tree now lives on only in memories, as the landowner removed it after concerns were raised about the risk of falling branches harming visitors or damaging property. Number 5. Bird migration. The mystery of how birds migrate long distances over land and sea has always been a bit of a mystery to animal experts, but it looks like we're one step closer to figuring it out. By studying robins, scientists have found clues to how birds sense the Earth's magnetic field. Just as you might reach for a magnetic compass to find which way north or south is, birds are thought to have an inbuilt living compass. Pretty cool, huh? A chemical in the eye that's sensitive to magnetism could be proof of the theory. According to a new study, it could be that birds see the Earth's magnetic field. Scientists may have identified the molecule that allows small migratory songbirds to detect the magnetic field and use that information to help them navigate when they migrate thousands of miles. One chemical contender is a molecule in the retina of the eye known as cryptochrome. They found it had the ability to form pairs of radicals that have high magnetic sensitivity. A radical is an atom or molecule that's highly chemically reactive. So in theory, if these highly specialized chemical reactions could give the bird information about the direction of the Earth's magnetic field, these birds are basically magnetic compasses. Number 4. The unbreakable code. Imagine walking past a 12-foot tall scroll covered in strange letter-like symbols every day for years and wondering just what the heck it actually meant. That's probably how it feels for people who regularly pass by the infamous crypto sculpture in the courtyard of the CIA's headquarters in Langley, Virginia.
I would never get nothing done if I'm there. You know what I'm saying? If I had somewhere to be and I walk past that, I'm easily distracted. So that's gonna distract me for about an hour. You know what I mean? I can see that. That don't need to be in the same vicinity as me. I'm definitely getting distracted by that and trying to figure it out.
The sculpture, devised by artist Jim Sanborn, has been around for nearly 3 decades, and yet no one has figured out what the full message says, let alone crack the underlying riddle.
See, and you can't say stuff like that to me. No one has figured it out yet. That's gonna make me want to figure out. Nobody has cracked the code yet. That's like, all that, no one makes me want to do it.
Pretty cool, right? But frustrating for some. And recently, to celebrate the Copper Scroll's 30 years of stumping experts, the artist released a third and final clue to help hobbyists figure out what the remaining unsolved 97-character passage says. But Sanborn says unscrambling that phrase won't exactly lead you to a quick victory. It's really just the end of step 1. It's a 97-character phrase, and that phrase in itself is a riddle. As for the clue, it's one word: northeast. Thanks to the 2 prior clues from the artist in 2010 and 2014, the first 3 passages have been solved by a computer scientist, but the final 97-character portion still eludes experts. It's considered to be one of the most famous unsolved codes of the world. Number 3. Mysterious tiny coffins. In 1836, a group of boys made an eerie discovery while hunting rabbits on the slopes of Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh. Hidden in a cleft in a rock, they found miniature coffins, each containing a tiny carved corpse. They were roaming a rocky peak known as Arthur's Seat that overlooks Edinburgh, Scotland, when their attention was caught by a small cave, its entrance carefully covered with pieces of slate. After pulling back the slabs of stone, the boys found 17 coffins, each about 3.7 inches long, arranged in 3 tiers.
First of all, if I was her, I wouldn't touch that. Why I'm getting like weird, like voodoo type vibes from it. Like, some stuff, man. See, and that's the dangers of scientists, bro. Their jobs are very dangerous. Look at this. Who knows what you're unearthing, unlocking, releasing? You know what I mean? What type of weird, all that type of, yeah. That one there, I'd have had, if you got a rookie on staff, this is where the rookie got to step up. The rookie got to handle this.
2 rows of 8 and a solitary coffin at the start of a 3rd row.
See, now you got nails.
2 rows of 8 and a solitary coffin at the start of a 3rd row. Inside each was a small wooden doll, its face carved with wide open eyes, dressed in plain cotton clothes. The question of who carved the figures and coffins and why has been a mystery ever since. Witchcraft, pagan ritual, or a strange memorial? From the beginning, theories swirled around the discovery of the so-called fairy coffins. Some say that the coffins might be related to an ancient custom which prevailed in this region of burying in effigy departed friends who had died in a distant land, or possibly sailors lost at sea. However, others believe the 17 coffins found in the cave match the number of deaths from a famous murder spree around that same time. Number 2. The Mary Celeste. This is one of the famous ships in all of history. The Mary Celeste was an American merchant brigantine discovered adrift and deserted in the Atlantic Ocean of the Azores Islands on December 4th, 1872. The last entry in the boat's log was dated 10 days earlier when it had left New York City. On board were the ship's captain, Benjamin S. Briggs, his wife, and their 2-year-old daughter, along with 8 crew members. Less than a month later, a passing British ship called Dei Gratia spotted the vessel at full sail with no sign of the captain, his family, or any of the crew. Aside from several feet of water and a missing lifeboat, the ship was undamaged and loaded with 6 months' worth of supplies. Why would an experienced captain such as Briggs or his sailors abandon a perfectly sound ship? Theories over the years have ranged from mutiny and pirate attack to a sea monster, while some people proposed an explosion caused by fumes from the 1,700 barrels of crude alcohol in the ship's hold. An investigation over a century later suggested a scenario in which a faulty chronometer, rough seas, and a clogged onboard pump could have led Briggs, his family, and his crew to abandon ship. Number 1. Chocolate Hills. Some as tall as 400 feet, There are more than 1,000 of these hills spread over an area of almost 20 square miles. These distinctive round hills in the Philippines, usually covered in green grass, dry up and turn brown in color during the dry season. And that's why they get the name Chocolate Hills.
Okay, so it's nothing food related. All right, y'all, because maybe I'm hungry. Maybe I'm hungry, but they said Chocolate Hills. I like perked up like, huh? Where? What? And I'm not even like a chocolate fan like that, so it's gotta be I'm hungry.
Their formation, however, is still a mystery. Even geologists have not been able to reach a consensus in regards to the formation of this natural phenomenon. A commonly accepted geological theory is that the earth lumps were formed as a result of marine limestone, lying on a clay base that is impenetrable, weathering for thousands of years. This results in a majestic landscape that might make you think it's man-made. According to legends, the hills came to be because two feuding giants hurled rocks, boulders, and sand at each other. Another legend claims that what really happened was a heartbroken giant cried a lot of tears, which led to the formation of these limestone hills. Either way, Chocolate Hills were declared a National Geological Monument in 1988, and rightfully so. Often dubbed as an eighth wonder of the world, the Philippines' Chocolate Hills look like a field of giant Hershey kisses. So, this is proof that not even science can get to the...
Yeah, a fan of like Hershey Kisses. I was never a fan of that. They make good commercials and funny commercials. I was never a fan of that, though. You know what I mean? But, yeah. Chocolate Hills. Oh, just not for me. But, yeah, man, you got scientists discovering little tiny coffins with stuff in them. That's a no for me. You know what I mean? You had the earthquakes in the beginning. You got light spawning off of that. We had heard about that. So that wasn't nothing new. But then you got pneumonia fronts. Like, never ceases to amaze me. Never cease to learn something new, bro. Like, if you don't find that type of stuff fascinating, then I don't know what to tell you, bro. You know what I mean? Something like that. But this is also why I live in the South, though. I'm not trying to deal with no pneumonia fronts at all. And if somebody can explain to me what walking pneumonia is, I greatly appreciate it. You know what I mean? I'd agree if you've heard of it. If you haven't, then just keep scrolling. All right. But y'all get at me in the comment section and let me know what you think of this video. And stick around and stay tuned. Till next one, I'm gone. Peace.